Hello. So whenever two sun signs of the same sign get together, it's generally not a good idea. um, however, it very much like every sun sign combination, it can work if both individuals have the partner placement energy. So in this case, Aquarius in the rising sign, especially, that would be effective. In the moon, in prominent love planets, that would be really helpful. So especially if one of the Leos has maybe Moon, Aquarius, and Venus in, well, Venus and Aquarius wouldn't be possible. I guess you could have Venus in the house of Aquarius, which would be possible, and that would basically be the same thing. But having some Aquarius energy, Mars and Aquarius is possible, for example, then this can work out really well. But what's really important is to have that partner energy. Um, I know that this type of relationship can happen in the first place because people, when they date somebody who has their partner energy, Aquarius in this case, especially if they date an Aquarius, they can be so jaded by it because a partner energy does not necessarily make that person an ideal partner. What's important is that each person is working on themselves, is salubrious psychologically, they're doing well mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, and they're working on themselves. It doesn't matter where exactly they are in that journey, as long as they're working on themselves, that's what's important. And that's going to make somebody who is independent and able to give and receive love healthfully, which should happen in a mature adult relationship without too much baggage, too much subconscious behavior. And of course, even then, it's not guaranteed that it's going to work out. But that is a prerequisite for a healthy relationship. As per the general approach, the general conduct, and whether it works out from there, it comes down to energies, temperaments. Is this person really going to, yada, yada, yada. It depends if on so many different growth levels, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, financially, if they're going to be able to grow with you or not. However, as I was saying, this could work if two wheels not only have the partner energy, but also if they have the other two fire energies, one or the other. That really helps things. That trine energy introduces a lot of different helpful, as long as both individuals are, again, working on themselves, really helpful energies to be able to have a different perspective. So say the Leo, now this is the best. We'll get to the challenging part too. Um, and we'll also get into more reasons of why this relationship, if all of the other places or all of the other, if it works basically, and if it's really high functioning, why it's beautiful. We'll get to that in a second. I'm just saying, usually when it comes to two energies of the same sun sign, it can be difficult because, let's get into this for a moment, because they have a lot of the same needs and they don't have, unless that Aquarius or Sagittarius or Aries energy is there, they don't quite have the jigsaw puzzle pieces for it to be able to work without too many compromises. Both Leos are going to shine. Now, being that the sun energy is masculine, it's very common when these two types come together, when the same one type comes together, that the Leo man is probably a little bit more distinguished, he's probably a little bit older, he's probably pretty well off in some kind of way that really makes the Leo woman go, ooh, usually financially, but it could be physically, or it could be spiritually. Maybe as a spiritual authority, he's going to have some kind of authority. He's going to seem like a king in that realm to that woman. And she's going to go, oh, wow. And she'll rely on her moon energy a little bit because as the feminine principle, that's where women usually are coming from. As a big generalization, but I would say in general, the moon energy in women's life, it usually shines a lot more. It's a lot more dominant than the sun sign in comparison to guys. So something to keep in mind. That Leo woman will most likely rely on that energy. Now, if that moon is in Aquarius, okay, that is a fantastic combination. Again, depends on other things. And by the way, I do relationship readings as well as natal chart readings, transit readings, etc. So if you're interested in checking out a particular relationship, going in depth and really giving it the exploration, really deep exploration, please feel free to email me at williamharrison@live.com. Visit my website, willharrisonalc.com, and then you can get information from there. So, as I was saying, if the moon goes into Aquarius, or if the Leo woman has moon in Aquarius or moon in Gemini, moon in Libra, especially, that's going to allow her to get away from her ego a little bit. And because Leo ego is very powerful, that's neither good nor bad. Actually, it's got gifts and challenges like every single energy ever does and always will have. And the challenge of that, especially with this relationship, the challenge of both. Well, let's get with the gifts first. There's going to be incredible generosity between these two individuals. If they're at least at like a, let's say a 30% on the maturity scale, maybe 40%, they'll be generous at least sometimes. And there might be other times where they throw temper tantrums or power struggles or whatever. But especially if both of these individuals are highly functioning, very mature adults seeking to be in a mutually independent, interdependent, healthily relationship, then there's going to be a lot of generosity, a lot of playfulness, a lot of love, a lot of having fun and caring for each other in a kind of grandiose way. It's not quite like Cancer nourishing and being soft and vulnerable, or Pisces for that matter. Or the earth energies of Capricorn and Virgo, where they're going to be caring in a more supportive, not quite so more emotionally appealing, but still a very supportive way. This care is like it really is like a lion and a lioness. Actually, that's a really good way to think of this relationship. I mean, that's what it is, but also metaphorically, because you see how they seem to go together, and they can, but you also see how that can be a little bit too much, and it can be, especially if both of these individuals have Mercury and Leo, that especially, unless they like create together, and they both have that Aquarius energy and both have that Aries and Sagittarius, if they have some way that they can both get their it's, ego is such a loaded term and such a bad word. Ego is not bad. Ego is just being able to understand who you are, and to be able to understand, it's not even so much understanding, it's just rawly being your individual spark that you'll have for the rest of your life, that you have been and always will be in this form anyways, esoterically. After you die, that's a whole other, conversation, speculation, etc. There is a lot of ego in both of these individuals, and especially together. Now, again, if they're entertaining together, and then as time goes on, they find that they're solo, because they're going to want to both go solo eventually. If they both have paths that are parallel each other, wow, this could really work. Again, if that other Aquarius energy, the air energy, the other fire energy is there. Let's get back to that for a second. The reason that's important is that what I was saying is it allows some observation. Fire and air naturally go together. Earth and water naturally go together. These energies, these elements mix so well together because they feed each other. Air excites fire, fire excites air, fire gives air a direction, gives it a purpose. Well, and you could argue, actually, air does the exact same thing for fire, just in a different way. Air crafts ideas, whereas fire fulfills the idea and sparks and goes, yeah, and has that magical look in their eye. But then the air has that magical look in their eye where they're like, wow, yeah, wow, I can't believe you did that. What if you did this next? It's like, whoa, yeah, watch me. It's this cool back and forth. Whereas two fire energies go, it's a little bit too much fire. It gets a little bit smoky, and then they start burning each other. Again, if there's enough air to kind of pump the smoke out, and there's to direct the fire, then there won't be that drama. There won't be that exaggerating. I mean, it can be exciting, that drama. I have a lot of Leo, I get it. That drama can be exciting at first because it's something new, and it's filled with love and passion. It's like a melodramatic soap opera, and it's exciting. But eventually it's like, okay, how many dance numbers have we done? And can we just kind of chill? Especially if one of these Leos have like a water moon or an earth moon, they're going to get a little resentful of the ego stuff. And that person is usually going to kind of, especially if it's the woman, because we're talking about the moon here, and those water and earth moon women are a lot more, even with Leo's sun, a lot more likely to go inwards and a lot more likely to chill and not quite give in to the drama and the ego struggles that can happen, the cat fighting and whatnot. Um, that's the biggest challenge, is to get all of this fire to be able to spark each other, but to not burn each other out, and to not try and steal the other's tinder for your own flame. And then with the app, that that statement sounds so strange. Try to steal each other's fire. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. And to let you both, now again, that's, any relationship can work. The compromises are really what make it likely to work, or the most in your interest to work. So if you feel, if you're in this relationship, or if you see this relationship and you want to help them understand, or whatever the case may be, if a Leo, if you both are able to be yourselves, you have something where you can be seen as the royal we. You can be the king and the queen at the same time. If all of these are present, and it helps too if you have one extroverted and one introverted Leo, for sure. That nice balance is really important. And it's also important that they kind of switch roles a bit, because some lionesses are very strong and they do a lot of the hunting, for example, whereas lion males are a little bit more about the posturing and the guarding of the territory. It's really important, especially if the lioness is introverted, that she also has her space to roam, her space to be the master over her domain, and to be able to be seen and to let her light shine. It's really important for both of these individuals to allow each other's light to shine. If that can be maintained, this relationship has a serious shot. Oh, going back to the Sagittarius and Aries energies. So they're also going to be helpful because they kind of move the fire around a little bit. A person is going to have an immediate reaction that isn't all Leo in that case, especially if they have, say, Moon in Aries, and if the female especially has Moon in Aries. That can be really helpful because it allows for either that cardinal fire, Aries, or that mutable fire, Sagittarius, to take over sometimes. And that can solve a lot of arguments very quickly, especially if the woman has Moon in Sagittarius, because she can just let little things go. And so when their partner, whether male or female, when their partner gets petty, like Leo energy can do, and become very regalistic and full of itself. Of course, Aries and Sagittarius can do that too, and that's the challenge. But the gift is that Moon in Sag, for example, or Rising Sag, or Mars in Sag. Mars and Sag are a little bit less so, but still. Or Sun in the House of Sag. These energies are going to be able to take over sometimes and field the ego blows and be able to just let little shit go. Because Sagittarius is probably the best one out of those three energies to be able to do that in general. And Aries energy helps because it just likes to move forward. And so that Leo energy, when it's getting a little bit full of itself, the Aries can just be very innocent but also very playful and speak the lion's language, or lioness's language, and be able to say, no, come on, like let's just move forward, let's just go forward. But again, Sagittarius and Aries energy, they're both fire energies also, and so that can just add more fuel to the flames. And again, we come to probably the most important point of this relationship potential. Is there an air sign to clear it out? Some tornado, some wind to be able to blow some life into this relationship, to not be so much, this is what I did today, this is what I did today, and try to one-up each other. And again, it's funny, it's fun, it's sexy at first, but after a while, there has to be that ebb and flow. And again, we have that ebb and flow of the introvert and extrovert functions as well. Two extroverted Leos, it'll be fun until it burns itself out. Two introverted Leos, it'll be fun until potentially there's resentment for something that is hard to say and talk about, but you're still feeling very strongly about it, and you're exhibiting just in more subtle ways. Again, we come to the air energy. The air energy promotes the communication between two Leos that is so important, that can be romantic and fun and without being too melodramatic. And that air energy complement also allows both Leos to not take. Ideally, both of y'all Leos are going to need to have that air energy for this to really work, because then it'll just free you from a lot of the stuff that kills this type of relationship. Drama, too much. I'm not gonna call her. She needs to call me. I'm not gonna call him. She needs to call me. All that stuff. That is just like, well, all right, no one's calling anybody. This isn't going anywhere. So that's something to keep in mind. Let's see. Anything else? No, I think that's everything. Infinite love to you, my friend. Namaste. Oh, let's talk about some of the good stuff, just real quick. We talked about it a little bit before, but I don't want to focus too much on the doom and gloom potential here. We talked about the playfulness. We talked about, especially with creativity, just being able to spur each other on. If these are two artists getting together and they have that air energy and maybe a little bit of fire to shake things up, that can be really helpful. Also, raising a family together can be really stimulating, but only if you agree. You have to agree on so much. Religion actually not so much in the Leo's case, but what kind of art you like, how you like to have fun, how you treat others. Are you a dignified person? How do you treat children? Are you a caring person and able to not take yourself too seriously in general, and be the child that each lion and lioness is? These are realms that have to be agreed upon for this to work, or at least no, it's pretty straightforward. They have to, maybe not every single one of those realms, but they're very important realms. And of course, other things do take into account as well. Is maybe if they're really spiritual, like say a moon in Pisces and then a moon in Sag, Leo, they're gonna have to agree upon some kind of broader spiritual message to be able to make it work. They're both these individuals are just so passionate and just care so much that somebody who's just like them but different, that can be really frustrating and lead to, again, the I'm not calling him, she's not calling me, or I'm not calling her, or whatever situation. But yeah, if they can balance each other out, this is a really happy union. And it has so much life and vitality, and if both are able to shine and there isn't too much jealousy, or if there is jealousy, it's channeled healthfully into, wow, that was an amazing performance, or wow, that was amazing how she did this, or he said this, or whatever, he stood up and did a speech, or whatever. Being inspired by it and going, that's my partner. First off, I should be proud in a sense that that's my partner, but also I'm going to be so proud of myself when I express myself. Again, you want to have, the competition is inevitable, it's fire energy, but you want to frame it in a way that's productive, that can be talked about, so you can congratulate each other and celebrate each other and feel free and safe to celebrate yourself around them, with them. If that's there, then this could definitely work. Infinite love to you, my friend. Namaste.